Monday, actually it's Monday afternoon. I took the morning to get paperwork done. I had to send out owner's manuals and different things. So I got that all taken care of. I'm in here in the shop, and today I'm going to start on body panels on this fella. So as always, there's a template. And then there's all the little pieces. I already got these laid in here, which I will weld up. This is the frame that holds the side panels. And kind of a unique thing that I do. And I'm going to try something a little different on this, and we'll get to that when I get to the actual construction of the panels. But for now, we're going to just kind of weld this up and go from there. So that's what I end up with, and I will finish weld this as soon as I get the other one done. And this part goes actually pretty quick. These are all cold rolled steel. I can use hot roll on this, that's fine. But I ended up getting this by mistake, and it's just fine. It's a little more rigid than the cold roll or hot roll, but it's stronger, you know, and all that. It doesn't really need to be. A little harder to work with, but that's okay. You know, if it was easy, everybody'd be doing it, right? Yeah, I got them pretty well put together. Added a little extra brace here. I chopped out this section here. I typically leave about 2 inches here and cut this flush. I got to grind all these welds down so that they don't interfere when I go to put this in. So the next thing I got to do is make a bunch of these. I got to make 8 of these things. And I have this highly sophisticated jig for that. This is where I like to use the cold rolled steel because it bends easier, but this will be fine. Just takes a little bit extra effort in the wanker here. There, so we get another hook. So I make 8 of those, four for each frame. And that basically is what the side panels hang on. They hang on those little brackets. It makes it a really slick deal. This is where it'd be nice to have a helper. I'd give them a bunch of these and say, go over there and whack it with a hammer a couple thousand times. Then we'll have lunch. Well, so the little clippy dippies, they go here just like this. As I said before, 4 on the side. And the frame goes right here. It's kind of fussy how this is placed. I want this bar to be pretty close to 1/2 inch above this, so it's pretty much at the top radius of these clips. And I stay about 3/4 of an inch there, 3/4 of an inch here. And this is kind of centered in this space. And this is usually right in that strut. So go ahead and check those guys. And then you'll start to see how this all fits together. And I normally try to get it 1/4 inch space right here. You know, it helps if the thing is on. Okay, you can see I finished welding these. Got them welded on the sides and everything. Before I was just tacked, but you can see the 4 clips there. And it'll just slide in here like this, and there she sits. So that's what holds the side panels in place. I'll drill a hole here and here, put a sheet metal screw in there, and that's it. So 2 screws on each side, and that's what holds the outside enclosures. I have to bend this piece here to clear this radiator nut right here. Otherwise, when I go to slide it off, you see what it does. You got to pull this out. So I'll actually bend this out a little bit to clear. All right, as you can see, I have these highly sophisticated templates. I always get a template, you know. These are different. They're the right and the left. If you notice, one is thinner across here than here, because the cylinders are offset about 3/4 of an inch or so, or whatever it is in metric. So I do mark them out as right and left, and then this part is the nose piece, which basically gets bent like that. And this doesn't matter. This is universal for each side. So I got them all marked out. So I'm going to go ahead and plasma cut these out, and then I have to clean up the edges, and then bend them. Once they're bent, then I'm going to put them on the frame, and I'm going to try something new. So this will be the first time I do this new thing that's coming up. We'll see how it goes. Let's go ahead and get these cut. If you notice, I kind of stick around this, so I'll put this on the shear and cut these nice and straight, so I don't really worry about that too much. There's one of them. And there's the left side. I'll go ahead and set them aside. Don't want to burn these things up. I tell you what, these things are worth gold. Without those, it took me to get these exactly that way. It took me a couple years of fine tuning. You can see that part actually went pretty good. I've got all the blanks cut for both sides, clean them up. This is actually going pretty well. It goes pretty fast. It'd be really hard to do it in fiberglass because you have to do it 3 times. You got to build a blank and make a form and then build the piece. If you make a change, you can do the whole thing all over again. Where I can just make a little adjustment to my paper template and I'm good to go. Mass production wise, yeah, it may make more sense. For this type of production, this is what I do. Well, unfortunately, most of the videos I did here recently, I had no sound. So it's kind of like Charlie Chaplin version of building trikes. But anyway, in the last silent movie, you saw how I got this frame in here, which is actually fitting pretty good. So there's a stiffener on here, and I got the angle with a little detent here, so when the hood comes in, it lays mostly flat. There, and it sits in there just like that. So what I'm going to do now is put the screen on there, and then I'll put a little angle plate on this, and then I'll put the wings on there, and we'll get this guy done, and we'll move on to the hood. Well, as you see, the grill's in. There's a little trim piece down here that covers the bottom of the grill piece. This will be all sealed off. I got the plate put in here, which kind of finishes it off real nice. And then I have a couple of these paper templates, you know. Oops, wrong one. I've got several of these. They formed a little wing that goes in here just like that. And everyone's just a little bit different. So I'll transfer this to metal and put these in there. This adds a little flair, and it kind of cleans up this whole area. If I didn't have these on here, I'd have to finish this off, and then it would look kind of pieced together, where I think this gives it a little bit of extra flair, and it allows me to fit this a little bit tighter. Yeah. All right, I got to cut a curve into this, which I do with this sandbag. It's leather with sand in it, and I actually put tape on the end of this so that it doesn't dent too bad. But as you can see, you can form a nice curve in there. Straighten that edge, and we'll see how that looks. Well, I got it all finished welded in here, and it's got a really nice margin right here. When I put this on after it's painted, there'll be a black rubber gasket that goes right here, so it'll fit together pretty nice. And as you can see, that kind of, you'll see it especially when the hood's on here. It'll kind of add that little bit of flair to the whole thing. So I'll finish weld this, get the other side done, and then this part of it's pretty well taken care of. Well, I got this part in there. It's all welded. Everything's working just great. So that's how she hinges here. And I have the hook plate, which will go on here, and I just need to trim it a little bit. Actually, it fits pretty good. It's flat here, but here it's going to have about a 1-inch arc. And it just adds, if it's flat like this, I don't think it'll look right. So I always put a 1-inch arc in there. And sometimes it's better one way or the other. Yeah, that's better. That's just perfect. So I'll go ahead and put the edge piece around here. Then I bend this arc, and then I weld it down. And to get this shape, you guessed it, paper form. I got a paper template that I use for all the hoods. So, put the edges on here, put the arc in it, and it's starting to look like something now. Well, I got the edge trim. This is the 8x1/2 inch. Put that all the way around the edge. And I leave it stick up just a hair. In fact, I lay a piece of sheet metal strips down so that I get about the thickness of 22 gauge metal. It makes it a lot easier for my painter to get to the edge here and prevent this from cracking, because he'll fill this all in around the bead here and then smooth this whole thing out. So it's laying pretty flat. I used to do this a lot of different ways. What I want to do is bend the front of this, but I want the back to stay straight. So if I didn't put the edge on there, which is the way I used to do it, I had this jig here, which I would I would bend the sheet metal, I'd heat it up, but then it would warp real bad, and we had all kinds of trouble with it. So then I figured out if I put the edge on there first, and then I bend it, I'll take a torch and heat this up. The whole thing stays really nice and flat because I'm only bending the metal here, which holds the sheet metal in place, and it just works out really well. So that is that's the way I've been doing it lately, and that seems to be working the best. I get the best results, and my painter's happy. We'll go ahead and put the torch to it. I kind of want to heat this whole thing so I get a nice even curve. Usually this center part here kind of billows out, so I got to pound that back in after it's all shaped. Alright, we'll let that cool for a bit. The arc looks perfect, but it's bellied in here a little, so I'll tap that all out after she cools off here, and we'll go ahead and mount it on the bike. Okay, I got this thing prepped. I usually have it tip out just a little, so this margin's a little wider at the top, because I'll have to adjust it back in. I did put 3 little washers on this corner. I want this margin to match from side to side, so it's kind of common. You got to do a little tweakage there, and as you can see, this has a nice curve in it now. And again, I just drilled a couple holes, so the margin, if it's slightly wider at the back, that's okay. But if you put lights in there, it'll glow through this crack here. And I'm going to go ahead and tack that guy because it looks really good right there. There. So that part there is coming along. You can see I use a stack of really strong magnets to get my spacing. So I'm going to go ahead and weld this up, and I'm going to build a frame that goes inside of this hood, which reinforces it. The nose here is about even with this, which is about right. Gives you a nice little taper there, adds a little texture to the front. That worked out very nicely. And I still got a nice, oh, it's perfect. Margin on top is absolutely perfect. So this is basically, the body parts are done. I'm waiting for wheels. You know, before I was waiting for ball joints. Now I'm waiting for the rims. As soon as the rims show up, I got the tires and everything, and I got the fenders, but that's all I got left is that.